Oh, hey. Hey, guys, let's come along with me. Let's just show how we got started this bar, and let's bring it back to the roots. So our current location, we're going to go toward the original location that's about 2 miles down the road. So we'll show you guys back to where the bar used to be. We had two locations. I'm going to give you a little rundown of people don't know the past of the bar and how I acquired owning the bar. So basically in 2016, I purchased the bar off the old owner, Amanda. How I've done that is because she got a divorce and basically it was just a memory of those two together and she just didn't want to deal with it anymore. At the time I was a member. So I would drive from the bar when I lived down there, and I'd drive from the bar all the way up here, almost goddamn 5 days, 6 days a week. When I first found the bar, I was just absolutely amazed by how cool the place was. There's nothing like it that I've ever seen. They had powerlifting, they had bodybuilding, they had strongman. I was like, man, this is my place. I was there as a member for about 2 years or something before they got a divorce. And I was still working offshore as an underwater welder. That's what everybody knows. I was a commercial diver. I did that. I started that in 2007. And in 2016, there was kind of like this thing in my life where I was like finally on a job that was a good schedule. I was a 14 on, 14 off. And I was doing that for a while. And I started thinking like, there's a cap to me. There's an age cap to me. What am I going to do when I hit like 50 and but the guys that have been out there for years and years and they're not moving from it. I wanted, the only way up was to become a supervisor. Saw the gym, training out of it, powerlifting, and I saw the gym kind of going down. It wasn't like going where it was. You could tell that she wasn't into it, and rightfully so. I asked her, is she willing to sell? And she sold me the assets at a good price. I think it was $34,000. I bought the assets from her. And then from there, I basically got the gym, got everything in it, all the equipment. Thank God I did not purchase her LLC. It was absolutely a wreck. She owed taxes. The Zen Planner, the software we used for memberships, basically said she had 200 members. And then when we dug through the system, it only was 50 active members. It was an uphill climb since day one. It is what it is, and I knew we're getting into it. So the funny part is that she told me, I remember sitting me in the office at the old location we're heading to now, the original OG location. So she said to me, I don't know if you're going to be successful. You don't have any fitness experience. And I remember that, and that was a big thing for me, was like, don't tell me I don't have something. And it was just a motivation, and I was like, well, I'll show you. Hold my beer. And I worked my tail off. First year was absolutely grueling. We didn't have a 24-hour system, so I would be on my days off, or when I was on land, I would be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I would go up to the gym and pretty much work it all day until it closes. And then I finally had enough money that we got the 24-hour software in. We went to 24 hours and my staffed hours went down, so I didn't have much overhead for employees. The gym wasn't going to cover my bills. I didn't have enough. It didn't even, it was bringing in barely nothing. So I had to, my mom was retiring from being a nurse, and I asked her to come down and help me when I was basically offshore. She'll work the gym, making sure everything's there. I did have employees at the time, but I really wanted somebody in the family that was the person that I could trust. She came down and we went through the system and got everything cleaned up and built it and kind of moved on, and it evolved itself from there. It was when I tell you guys, the things that you see in the gym now, that was dreams that I'm like, man, that'd be cool one day to get that shit. And no shit, it happened. So anybody that's aspiring to do whatever you want to do. Is the biggest thing is you do it and you keep doing it. Even though it's not happening, you take one step, you take one step, you take one step. You don't give up. There's frustrating times, there's trial times. This is all stuff probably most people hear, but most people don't have the ability. We live in a generation that's an instant gratification. Meaning you go to McDonald's, you have your burger right there. Coffee's right then. Nobody knows how to suffer long. Thank God the oil field taught me how to do that. I think all my years working in the oil field taught me how to deal with people, push crews, communicate with people, and basically kind of led me up to where we're at now. So let's go check out this place. Well, I don't know if it's even open anymore. I don't think the doors are, but we'll just check outside. So come on. Well, here it is. The original location. Some of you guys that follow us on YouTube will remember this place. It's an old gym that used to be here. This is the location. You look at the outside of the building, it looked like a house. It was so hard to find a place. When I first became a member here, I was looking for it. I was like, where the hell is this place? I'm gonna walk in somebody's house. And it's funny, the old original bar sticker is still here on this wall right here. And it's cool to see that happen. That's so funny how it transpired like that. Well, we couldn't go in. There's no cameras. Got some shots of the outside, and it was just what it was. It was a really, really, really crummy location. Stories in that place is absolutely hilarious. When it would rain, it would pour in from the ceiling, and it would pour in from the ground up. I remember one day in the, because it used to have a racquetball court in there. I had to use a shot vac. This whole power room was just goddamn full of water. It had a leaking pipe in the storage area, and the AC systems were so small and they had no insulation in the place. It was just absolutely horrendous. I can understand why it was at the location, because rent was stinking cheap, but the reality to it is that I knew when I took it over, I needed to move on from that location and I needed to make it my own. I couldn't be at that old location because I needed more exposure. I needed people to see me, and in there and how it was very hard to see me. And people were kind of intimidated by walking in looked like almost like you walk in, it's like a house. People just didn't know where to go. So that was when I decided to move it up the road. And I remember this fondly because we didn't have a pot to piss in. My mom was telling me, you're going to get your house repoed because you have no money. We're not going to survive. And everybody that knows Miss Kathy, she's a worrywart, but love that lady to death. But that's kind of how, and I just we got to do it. We need to do it. We're doing it. So now we're on the way over to the second location of where the bar really made its first 5 years of its life in there. I had to make do. You will see it. It's basically, it was a strip center, but I had to take up a bunch of units, and I had no money, and there was no build out. It was just, here it is, here we go. I remember paying Cody Booth. He's a chiropractor, local chiropractor here. He's a traveling guy. Shouts out to Cody. Anybody needs adjustment, go hit up Dr. Cody Booth. Good dude. I paid him, I think it was like $1,200, and he moved it because he needed to go to Daytona to go to school, chiropractic school, and that was his down payment on rent. And he outsourced it to crackheads. Half my equipment never showed up. It showed up, but there was pins missing on the highway somewhere. But it is what it is, and he did a great job for what he had to do. So he moved my whole entire gym into the location I'm at now. But the hard part is that we had both of them open at this same time. We had equipment there, we had equipment there. It was absolutely such a headache. Members were complaining, of course, but what are you gonna do? I didn't have no money. There was no money. When I tell people like we didn't have enough money to even get, I had to dip into my personal funds myself to support the gym. And I think people don't understand, like, there's a lot of shit that goes along with owning a business. I think people do. Business owners get it, but I think other people just, they assume that, like, oh, you're a business owner, you have money. Nah, you're eating a lot of crow for a while before you become actually taking money from the gym. And that's when I actually got on payroll with the gym, was after COVID. I finally left from offshore, and the gym grew big enough down the road I could take money, but it wasn't the amount of money I was working, like I was making offshore. I had to take a financial hit, but I know I needed to be home to grow the business to what it is at now. Sure, we grew this damn thing into what it is now. My wife's involved, Haley, amazing. She came in and she took a lot of burden off of me. There's a lot more story to the opening process to the new location. That was absolutely hell on me. That was like the first time I think I actually almost wanted to, there was 2 times. First time I always wanted to close up was when the county was asking me to put an air handling system inside this gym that we're at now, and it was over $200,000. I don't even own it. Like, I don't own the AC, I don't own the building. It's like, what? You need to have an air handling system in a gym because you exert in certain BTUs. Put a damn fan. I like literally went off on them. It was a lot. And then the landlords had issues getting there was a restriction in the deed from 1984. There was no health. So we're dealing with that, and it came down to ground, and like legit, the last weekend I had to be in that gym, to move out of that gym, it took that weekend for them to say, okay, you can go in to the location you're at now. It wore me down to a nub on stress level. I hired Jason Zahn, Senior, to do my whole build out, and he did an amazing job. So another shout out to him. Great guy, does a lot for the community around here. We do the bed builds together for the children, Sleep Heavenly Sleep. He did an amazing job getting that place cleaned up, gotten everything going for it. So, but I was in there with him, moving equipment shortly from this location to that one. It was just an absolutely mess, but that's the only thing we had to deal with. So we're coming up on the location now. The second location, we'll show you some of the outside. I'm sure the businesses are, maybe get some inside like things, but I don't know if anybody's there. We'll check this out and show you the location that most people now know what we are. Like my members that have been here with me for a while. This is the location that most of them know. The one on 90 there, some knew, especially the old school guys knew about it, but the one I put my most time and effort into.
You know what we call this location? We call it the beige days.
Yeah.
Because the walls were beige.
Oh, it's horrible.
So,
yeah, it was horrible.
We call season 1 of the bar.
So here's our second location. Units L and K was 1 unit at the time. It was one big open floor plan. The one that's a vape cloud place that's over there, that's open, that was the power room. And then the one that's I can't tell, it's I over there, we had that as the cardio room. That's where we had treadmills, some mirrors and things like that. But in the beginning, we popped a hole through K's wall and the J's wall. We just popped right through it. Kind of framed it out. It was awful. What had to happen is that they didn't give me permission to put a hole through the other one. And finally, like on year 3, we were able to do that. And because people had to grab the key and go outside, it was absolutely awful. I felt, but it was what it was, and we couldn't do anything about it. I mean, that's just the problem. And finally we got approval to put a hole through there, and this whole thing became one whole unit. A lot of memories to this place. It was absolutely horrible. I mean, in the big room in there, L&K, it was just brown carpet, stained from people over the times, dropping drinks. It smelled because it get wet during the like some rainstorms or hurricanes. blowing through the threshold, get damp. I think it was Sally that got drenched in there, but we still had power through Sally. So people working out through Sally, it was crazy what to expect out of that. It was funny. People, we didn't lose anything. We didn't lose power here. We kept on rolling. The yoga studio didn't really like us too much. We made a lot of noise, but they came in later on after we were there, which was funny. This is the location. This is it. It's where the bar really, really made its wings and started flying. But let's go check. I'll show you around back. So here's the back. So basically we took up that unit, where the pallet is, that's the basically the power room. And we had all the strongman equipment locked up. You can still see the dents that we've made over here in the where the gravel is from the stones and that we had, where the stone loaded platform was there. That was eventually was inside. But we moved it out here because we had to make room for the monolift to come in. And we basically had all the equipment, strongman equipment, locked up outside. But the cool part is that this whole back parking lot here, they could utilize this as doing whatever. So they really enjoyed that, the strongman. But at the location now, we have the back area, but they barely go back there. They like this more. It is what it is. I can't please everybody, but still got the same AC units. They never upgraded them, so they did a real good job upgrading when I left, which they didn't do probably shit. A lot of memories, guys, for this place. There's a lot of things that were, you learned from those days. We didn't even build anything out. It was beige, brown. We stuck banners up everywhere. There's no painting. It was a hole in the wall. We put a banner up over the holes. That power room, we pulled up the flooring because this was never meant to be a gym. This foundation is super thin. We destroyed the foundation. It was cratered down into rubble. It was absolutely, and I pulled it up. I was like, oh shit. Thank God for Jason. He came in and took the mirrors down that they want him to, and he actually made that floor level somehow, and he made it look good. And they gave me my security deposit back. I was like, no way I'm ever gonna get that back. And I did, I got it back. But it was absolutely, we destroyed that unit. I don't even know how it's standing, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. But this place was the beginning of what we started, and we built a lot of momentum off of this place. And then we really started to flourish and blow up when we went to our location we're at now. It's a lot of memories. Like, some days I never think about it because I'm usually thinking about what's the next step. For me, it's like we achieve a goal and then what's the next goal. I really don't it's good to reflect. It's good to see where you come from. But for me, I really never look at it. I'm ever happy until I reach this goal. When I walk into my freestanding building the goal is to build our freestanding building and to make it nothing like anybody's ever seen before around this area, and to make it the best in the South. And when I say that, I mean that, because going from these locations and stepping stones that we've done, anything is possible. You just got to work every fucking day, and it means you have to give up a lot. I don't think people understand the amount of shit I've had to give up and gone through to get where it is. I had a lot of haters too. I had a lot of members that I thought were like good people. Come to find out, they're just shitheads, evil people wanting something out of me. So I got, it taught me a lot. You're gonna run that even more as you get bigger. More headaches, more problems, but it is what it is. But this is my goal, and this is what I wanted to do, is change the fitness industry around here and bring something unique and badass. And I think we're accomplishing it there, but we're not where we want to be yet. Let's go head on back, and I hope you guys kind of enjoyed what you've seen and kind of see what it took to go through the years to get where we're at now. It was a very hard road. I really, some days I have to pinch myself and be like, wow, we really came far. Some of my members respect it. Some of them wished it was back to this old way. I'm not happy with this. This would never made me money. This made me actually did make me a lot of money, but it wasn't where I wanted to be. We did absolutely phenomenal growing it. And it was me and my mom. Who would have thought? A fucking diver and an old nurse fucking winging this shit, and we made it into something absolutely just kind of cool to see. And I hope people hopefully listen to this and maybe seeing this, maybe to get some inspiration, never give up, never back down. I think we live in a generation, like I said before, that's instant gratification. And I hope people realize like it's a long term, it's a marathon run. Cliche things I'm saying, but really honestly, until you start walking it, you start really understanding it. So let's go head on back. So we're heading back to the location we're at now. And I'll go in a little bit more detail on how, like, what it took to open that one. I gave a little bit of insight. The reality to it was we had a signed lease, but the landlords that we have now are absolutely idiots. I think I signed the lease on October 5th or 6th. Forgot what year it was. These things just blend together after time. People ask me how long. I'm like, I know the year I purchased the business, but I don't remember like certain things of moving, and because there's so much going through my mind that I just can't. I don't retain the information. We got it signed the lease on October 5th, and then in October I moved into my new house in up and over there in East Milton from Navarre, because I used to travel that every damn day, 7 days a week, travel from Navarre up to here. So people that are complaining about traveling, I think you guys are just absolutely full of shit. But I also see value in gyms for myself. I mean, I literally live it and breathe it, and I find like finding good gyms are worth its weight in gold. And finding a gym that has the right equipment, the right vibe. There's good gyms that have good equipment, and it just absolutely has no soul or heart to it. I think I pride myself on the fact that this place has a motivating atmosphere and basically soul and heart. Anyways, so we signed it on October 5th. They hem and hawed. I'm like, what are we doing? It's almost the end of my lease term here. I had to extend my lease by 1 month on the location, the old location there. And then we started building out in, I think it was March, right after Bending the Bar, my powerlifting meet. We started building out. They finally said, well, you go ahead and go in there, but we're still working on all the terms. Basically, I was in the location, I wasn't paying rent until that terms. And that was a whole nother headache. Because I negotiated a very good lease that favored me a lot, and I loved it, and that's why I didn't move on. And that was the big thing that people need to understand. Like, I got a lot of pressure to move to try to find another location, but where we're at was the funny story to this whole thing was that location. I said years ago that I'm like, this would be the perfect gym, and it sat there for 7 years where we're at now, and nobody occupied it. And I finally got the opportunity to get it, and we nailed it. But it wasn't that easy just opening up the doors and going. There was so much to it. I'm so glad I stayed and I kept to my guns. You know, I'm a big Christian, and I thank God for the aspect of a lot of days I'm like, is this right? Is this right, God? Are we doing the right thing? And everything kept on saying, you stay, you hold your ground. And I did. I stayed. I held my ground. You know, at the end of the day, we finally had an active lease. I think it was like a year and a half in. We finally had, everything was dotted, everything was signed, the lease was finally active. Then we went through this, what do we owe here? Who owes what? Then we had to do a bunch of math. Me and my realtor, Melissa Simpson, another absolutely phenomenal woman that really worked her ass off for me and helped me through this. And she does a lot of commercial properties around here, and she's my realtor for basically any of my commercial needs. I hope this gave you insight what this history is. I mean, I could go in more details of the history, but we're just kind of giving not bore everybody. I gave you a brief overview, cliff notes of what it took. If you like this stuff, like and subscribe. We're doing more content for one day in the life of a gym owner, kind of show you different aspects to it. We'll have some cool things coming up. I think it's fun to show you guys and kind of show you also as well what it takes to even become an entrepreneur, because I think I had the non-quit attitude, and that's what keeps me in the game. I see businesses failing because right now our economy is absolutely it's garbage, and I think what we did is brought something very special to the area. I think that's why people love the gym. And I get a lot of comments around this. Like, I have people from Atlanta. I had a guy in Atlanta stopped in for a week pass during this past Christmas. And he says, who would have thought in Milton, one of the baddest gyms I've ever seen, would be here. And I was like, I know, right? So the problem is the locals here, I don't think we have a lot of like, my military guys are like, thank God for you guys. You guys support me 100%. You guys are like 80% of my membership. I don't think without the military there, we'd be where we're at. This is a growing area, Milton is, but I don't think the value is here for people to realize what a special gym this is with the equipment we put in there, the atmosphere that we grew, the ability to show real results, not fake results. I wanted to be different, and this is my way of being different and making the gym industry around here. And that's my whole motto, making gyms great again, because they are absolutely and weak. And I believe that true accountability and the ability to actually push yourself, people need to kick in their ass. Nobody's going to get coddled. You're going to work. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you. Like, subscribe. More content coming your way.